In a bold move that could reshape the pharmaceutical landscape, President Donald Trump declared on Thursday that starting October the 1st, the United States will impose a staggering 100% tariff on all branded and patented pharmaceutical products entering the country. This decision is poised to stir significant debate and concern among industry stakeholders and consumers alike. Trump clarified that this hefty tariff will not apply to companies that are actively constructing drug manufacturing facilities within the US. He emphasized that any projects that have already commenced construction, including those that have broken ground, will be exempt from these tariffs. Therefore, if construction has begun, there will be no tariff on these pharmaceutical products, he stated in a post on Truth Social, a platform he founded. Branded and patented pharmaceutical products refer to medications that are marketed under specific trade names and are protected by patents or other forms of intellectual property. These protections prevent generic versions from entering the market until they expire, which can lead to higher prices for consumers. Trump's rationale behind these tariffs is to encourage pharmaceutical companies to relocate their manufacturing operations back to the United States. This initiative comes at a time when major companies like Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson and AbbVie are, according to data from the United Nations Comtrade database, US imports of pharmaceuticals have surged nearly threefold over the past decade, reaching approximately $213 billion in 2024. This increase highlights the growing reliance on foreign production for essential medications. In April, the Trump administration initiated a Section 232 investigation into pharmaceutical imports, a legal framework that allows the Secretary of Commerce to assess the impact of these imports on national security. This approach has previously been used to impose tariffs on other goods, such as automobiles and aluminium. The introduction of these tariffs is seen as a long-awaited challenge for pharmaceutical companies, many of which have expressed concerns that such levies could lead to increased costs, deter investments in the US, and disrupt the supply chain, ultimately jeopardizing patient access to necessary medications. In public comments submitted to the government, Eli Lilly warned that these tariffs could deprive manufacturers of necessary capital to both innovate and invest in reshoring, as companies may need to allocate funds to mitigate the financial impact of the tariffs. Health policy experts have echoed these concerns, suggesting that the tariffs could exacerbate existing medication shortages and drive up prices for certain treatments. The pharmaceutical industry often relies on a complex global network of manufacturing sites to manage various stages of drug production. Lee Purvis, a principal in AARP's Public Policy Institute, noted that there is a real risk of higher prescription drug prices in an environment where efforts are already underway to reduce costs. She cautioned that many generic drugs might face tough decisions about their market viability due to these tariffs. Interestingly, the proposed tariffs are lower than the up to 250% rate that Trump hinted at during an August interview. Initially, he suggested a small tariff on pharmaceuticals, with plans to escalate it to 150% and then 250% within a year to a year and a half. This evolving tariff strategy is part of a broader effort to revitalize US manufacturing. The recent tariffs come on the heels of new national security investigations into imports of robotics, industrial machinery, and medical devices, further expanding the scope of goods that could face increased tariffs. This could include essential medical supplies like surgical masks, N95 respirators, and syringes, compounding the potential impact on healthcare providers and patients. Analysts have raised significant concerns about the feasibility of reshoring pharmaceutical production, noting that the process is complex and costly, often taking years to implement. Evan Siegerman, an analyst at BMO Capital Markets, pointed out that the pharmaceutical supply chain is particularly intricate, making it challenging to simply relocate production. He suggested that many large pharmaceutical companies might delay making permanent manufacturing decisions until after Trump's presidency. In March, Johnson & Johnson announced a substantial $55 billion investment in US manufacturing, research and development over the next 4 years. However, the company also projected a $400 million tariff expense in 2025, primarily related to its medical device products, which does not account for the potential impact of the new pharmaceutical-specific tariffs. Other companies, such as Pfizer, have already reported financial impacts from the tariffs announced earlier this year. JJ's CEO, Joaquin Duarto, echoed the sentiments of health policy experts, stating, "There's a reason why pharmaceutical tariffs are zero. It's because tariffs can create disruptions in the supply chain, leading to shortages." He advocated for favorable tax policies as a more effective means to enhance US manufacturing capacity for both drugs and medical devices. Interestingly, some pharmaceutical companies like Eli Lilly, Bristol Myers Squibb, and AbbVie may be better positioned to withstand the impact of these tariffs due to their larger number of manufacturing plants located in the US. In contrast, companies like Novartis and Roche may face greater risks as they have fewer US facilities and a higher proportion of their active ingredient production sites located internationally. As this situation unfolds, it raises critical questions about the future of drug manufacturing in the US and the potential consequences for patients and the healthcare system. Will these tariffs truly incentivize companies to bring production back home, or will they lead to unintended consequences that could harm consumers? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with the proposed tariffs, or do you believe they will create more problems than they solve?